Hello and welcome to lesson 1.9. Today we're going to look at multiplying and dividing integers. So we are going to start off by looking at an example. It says write a multiplication or division sentence to answer the question. The temperature dropped 4 degrees. So we have dropped 4 degrees each hour for 3 hours. What was the total change in temperature? So with this problem here, we can approach this in two ways. We can sit there and say after 1 hour, it dropped 4, and we show a drop with a negative 4. Then we can add another negative 4 because it's going to drop each hour for 3 hours. So this right here is one way that we could represent this. However, the problem said to write a multiplication or division sentence. So if I go in and I change this repeated addition to a negative 4 times 3, because I have 3 occurrences, we can see that we ended up with a total drop of a negative 12 degrees. Now remember, with multiplication and division, if you multiply one number by a negative and the other number is a positive, then you're going to end up with a negative answer. If both products are positive or both are negative, then your overall answer will be positive. Example 2 has the same set of directions where it says write a multiplication or division sentence to answer the question. And for this one, the problem says a scuba diver descended to a depth of 50 feet in 25 seconds. Which integer indicates the average number of feet per second the diver traveled? Well, because I want feet per second, that tells me that I'm probably going to have to do a division problem. So we descended a distance because feet is a distance. So we descended, so descend means that we're going to have a negative value, and that's a negative 50 feet. And the word per, as indicated here, means to divide, and then I have to have a unit of time or seconds here. So that tells me I'm going to divide by the 25 seconds. So when I simplify this, again, I have a negative number being divided by a positive, so I know that my overall answer will be negative. And when I go 50 divided by 25, I end up with 2, and my units would be feet per second. So I can see that I am descending at 2 feet per second. So just as a quick refresher, it says the product of or quotient of two integers with the same sign is going to be positive. The product or quotient of two integers with different signs is going to be negative. Any product that's being multiplied by 0 and any integer will always give us 0. And please remember that you cannot divide by 0 because it will give us an undefined answer. Okay, so that could be any number, like so if I did 3 divided by 0, this cannot happen. And if you try to do this like on a calculator, it will actually give you an undefined answer or tell you that it can't be done. So if you want to take a quick second on example 3 here and try these out on your own, then we'll work through them. So go ahead and put the video on pause, and I'll see you back here in a second. Okay, now that you have your answers done, let's go ahead and see if you were right. So for number 16, I have negative 7 times 35. So that would give me a negative 35. And on the other side, I have negative 6 times a negative 6, which will give me a positive 36. So here for number 16, I can see that I need to have the less than symbol. For number 18, I'm just going to go down the column. I have 3 times a negative 6, which will give me a negative 18. On the right-hand side, I have negative 3 times 6, which will also give me a negative 18. So these two quantities are equal. For number 20, we have negative 40 divided by 8. Well, a negative divided by a positive will give me a negative 5. On the other side, I have 40 divided by a negative 8. Well, 40 divided by a positive divided by a negative will also give me a negative, and this will give me negative 5. So again, I see that these two quantities are equal. Now for number 17, we have 20 times a negative 20 times a negative 5. So a negative times a negative is going to give me a positive, or I get a positive 100. Then on this side, I have the absolute value of a negative 10, which will give me 10, and I'm going to multiply that by 10. So this is going to give me 100, and these two then would be equal. For number 19, we have 121 divided by a negative 11. So a positive divided by a negative will give me a negative, and 121 divided by 11 is going to give me 11. For the right-hand side, now I have a negative 45 divided by a negative 6. Well, negative divided by negative is going to give me a positive, so I end up with 45/6. And if you want to, you can reduce this down. 3 will go into both of these and give me 15 halves, or 7.5. So you don't have to convert to a decimal or a mixed number if you don't want to. At this point in time, I can see that my positive number is going to be greater than. So the symbol I'll put in between is actually going to be negative 11 is less than 15 halves. And then for my last part, I have negative 54 divided by 9, which is going to give me a negative 6. And then on the other side, I have 21 divided by a negative 3, which will be negative 7. Because I have negative numbers for both my 6 and 7, remember that the smaller negatives are actually bigger, so negative 6 then will be greater than negative 7. Now this is going to conclude our lesson 1.9 video. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in class. Thanks, and have a great day.